Hello, it's Irina here. Today I thought about bringing you another demo of an otome game. Let me check. I do not know if this one. Oh, it says in here that is okay for the LGBT community too. I do not know. I need to see a little bit more. And this game is called Imperial Grace. It's from the developer Synstoria. I think it's the name. And it has English and French, so I do not know if this is like a French developer. Like, you have this thing on Steam, which it kind of bothers me, which is like sometimes I want to know a bit more about the developers, and you have like no information, because sometimes I like to know a little bit more about the developer in itself. Where does it come from? A little bit more about their history, who they are. And you do not get that with Steam. So I don't know if it's French or not. I don't know. And it says about the game: Imperial Grace is a visual novel otome game focusing on politics and romance in an imaginary medieval world. As the new Empress of Calidya, your choices will determine your future and your kingdoms, so rule wisely. So become an empress, play as a strong and ambitious woman, and hold an entire country in the palm of your hand, thanks to the many choices offered throughout the game and the avatar customization options. Become the empress you want to be. Find love, fall under the charm of 3 love interests and their flamboyant personalities, and discover the kingdom of Calidya through colorful and well-developed secondary characters. And we have one guy, a woman, another guy. Okay, so I do suppose it's more like Otome and Yuri, like the other one, because since we are talking now about an empress, you will always be like a girl, right? Rule over Calidya. Guide your subjects by addressing their petitions, and navigate the crisis and settling your realm. It's up to you to tackle the many dilemmas that will change the history of Calidya for better or for worse. Morning. Manage your resources. Enjoy the story with infinite resources, or spice up your game by wisely managing your kingdom's resources, making each choice even more difficult. Your grace, your empire awaits. And they say we have a little bit of fantasy, violence, assassination, disease, war, sexism. Yeah, you have some warning in here. So I wanted to tell you something, which is let me stop this. Yeah, which is so I decided to put the music lower for our games, because this is something that is important. I've been getting quite a lot of copyright claims just because of the music, and I am talking about demos in here. And it kind of hurts me, because I am doing this basically with demos. I wouldn't talk about the ones that are out there, and I'm putting the whole games. I can understand those because, well, that it's something that I shouldn't be doing without the consent of the developers. So I can understand those. When it comes to demos, it kind of hurts me that the videos, might be shut out, or And I cannot even, because usually it's the sound, the music, that is the issue. And I cannot do nothing about it, because if I mute them, then you won't even get any sound, not even my voice in there, okay? So most of them, what they usually do is they actually allow, because they know that I'm just promoting the game, and so they allow it. They say it's fine, it's a demo, the person is promoting, and they take out the claim. Do you understand what I'm trying to say? Unfortunately, that doesn't happen with all of them. So I decided that I'm going to start putting the music lower, because I don't want to get more issues about this. Okay, so you can change languages in here. You have like the settings, and they have like a fade to black for suggestive content. I was kind of like thinking of you know checking this one, but I do not know if we are going to need it in here. Okay, I do not know if it's going to be something that I'm going to need to put it in here, because I always set my videos for a major audience. Okay, so people actually know what they are going to get, when you do that. And I do not think what the type of content that we are going to get in here is going to be like the real major one, where you have like sexual scenes and stuff like that. So I was like, maybe I'll just keep it like this, and we'll see it. I don't think I'm going to get any type of discomfort with the flashes or the shaking, but I do not know. We'll see it. And you have like the settings for the music. Then you have some settings for the text, and I really like this, because you have like 3 types of font, and you can also put it in a way that you can read it like in a justify alignment, or center or left. You can like increase or decrease the text size. I always increase because I'm like that. And you can even put like shadow around it. I'm going to show you. See, you can like put some shadow to give it more contrast, and I like it that. I was kind of thinking about putting in the dyslexic one, because I think it's easier for everyone if it's like on this one. But at the same time, I was like, I think this one is not completely bad. It's not a serif font, as I told you, which is like the worst thing that you can put on digital content. I mean, this one is, yeah. I know that there are people that prefers it, but for digital content, I already told you this, it's better if you do not get like a serif type of font. It's not so straining for the eye. And this was already said from people that actually know, that study these kind of things. So yes. I mean, if you're going to be reading for like 1-2 hours is fine. If you're going to read more in digital content, with the serif font is really straining for your eye. So I'm going to leave it like this, and we'll see it as we go. This is the demo version 3.1.0. I do suppose they are going, as they are working on the game, they might release like other versions. So I'm just alerting you that the version that I'm playing in here is this one. I was going to say that you know that I'm not the best person to be playing management type of games. I already told you that I'm more into the visual novel, kind of very pure and clean type of ones. So let's see how it works with this one. Okay, yeah. So this game is intended for a mature audience. It contains many themes that could offend the sensibility of younger players. The complete list of trigger warnings is available in our store page. I mean, they told us that this was a setting based on the medieval times. And you know that there's a lot of, how would you say, like prejudice and violence and discrimination going on during those times, You are going to play a demo version of the game, thus the content might be subject to change and some features may be missing, such as the diplomacy feature. Okay. Maybe we won't get like the resources kind of map thing. I do not know. Okay, I already saw this, and let me tell you, we do not need this. It's very basic information. You do not need these tips in here. I mean, if you already played other types of games, you do not need. So we have normal mode. You will need to spend your resources carefully. And story mode, you will have infinite resources. You know how I am. Like demo purposes, I do not care. Let's have infinite resources so we can just do this. And our name in here is like Lydia. We can change. I am fine, like Lydia it can be. And we get blessed by one of the 4 things in here. So, blessed by Bazan, you have loved fighting since you were a child. Although you are not allowed on the battlefield, you are in excellent physical shape and your swordsmanship rivals that of a man. Starting bonus in army. Blessed by Amatera. When you were younger, unless you want me to say it more like in Amatura, you would probably say it more like that. Amatura. For me, it's easier to say Amatera. When you were younger, you almost became a scholar. Your love of reading and learning has given you knowledge in many fields, including astronomy, theology, and botany. Starting bonus in religion. Religion actually had a lot of weight during the medieval times, which is true. Blessed by Horrell, you have mastered the art of diplomacy and eloquence. You can improvise inspiring speeches in an instant, and you know the first names of every noble over 3 generations. So this gives us a bonus in influence. Blessed by Myriad. Numbers and resources management hold no secrets for you. And you have excellent relations with merchants, are good at mental arithmetic, and know all the subtleties of thesis. I do not know how to say this. And other taxes, not only from Calidya, but also from your neighbors. Bonus in money. Well, since we are getting like most of the resources in here, maybe I would not pick this one. I wouldn't mind the influence. Religion is very important, probably. Army could be cool. I'm going to the influence one. How do I confirm and go to the next one? Or, yeah. Well, maybe not. Maybe I needed something else. Is there a way for me to go back? I don't think so. Because I wanted to change. Yeah, I did. I think I'm seeing it. Okay. I think I'm seeing it. It's because you have to confirm in there. And then you have the other things up there. And I was like, do I choose like confirm Or do I need to go up here to pass to the next one? Okay, so no, I need to go in here. Okay, I see it. This is like the little things that sometimes the UI doesn't tell you, and you're like, do I just confirm and goes to the next one, or do I need to go in there? You know, kind of messed with that. Okay, there's a beauty mark in there. I like freckles. I always like freckles. Let's do something different. No, maybe in here. Yeah. Okay. Let's do a medium one. And straight, wavy. Oh. But you have like different ones on each. Do you always have like white hair? Probably. I usually try not to just spend a lot of time with this. Well, she's pretty like that, probably, right? A curvy one. I mean, she's pretty with a lot of them, but it's fine. We'll do this one. Kind of different. And let's put some golden eyes. Golden eyes. I'm not going to put like each one. Yeah, I could, but I don't think we need to have like the eyes with different colors. Okay, so we choose all of these, and then you do the confirm. Yeah. So switch outfit to match the illustration. At the start of the scene that have an illustration CG, the game will automatically switch your outfit, hairstyle to match one used in the illustration, as we don't have the means to make every variation. Okay, then it's fine. But does that mean I need to change in here right now too, or I don't know. Is it night right now? I don't know. Let's just confirm. I think they are just showing us the different types that you have, probably. Your Grace. A panicked voice resonated in my dream like an echo a few moments before I understood that it came from somewhere else and woke up with a jolt. And I woke up, right? Disoriented. The palpable feeling of urgency had immediately brought me to my senses, but it still took me a few seconds to recognize the advisor's voice as well as the room I was in. Alden, what's going on? Your Highness, I bring terrible news. Your father was assassinated last night. I was ready to hear just about anything. Managing crisis was an important part of royalty, after all, and yet I was completely stunned by the news. My father was dead at the hands of an assassin, just a few rooms away from me? All the implications from this revelation bounced through my head, drenched in doubt and fear concerning my own security and the future of the realm of Calidya. I beg your pardon, Your Highness, I was too late. This is Alexander. Pulling myself out of my lethargy, I looked down on Alexander, who kneeled next to the bed, his head bent low as if the weight of his shame stopped him from getting up. Okay, give me just a minute. Okay. Yeah, it is. I was just checking something in here. Whatever went down, I knew he had nothing to be ashamed of. When I was just a child, I already admired his talents, and they grew steadfast with age and the position of general. His presence here was a relief. I didn't know the assassin's full intentions, but even if they were after me, as long as Alexander was by my side, I didn't have anything to worry about. Don't put yourself down like this. You aren't responsible for what happened. We'll bring the regicide to justice. Still mortified, Alexander stayed on his knees. I could see his fingers twitch a little, proof he wasn't completely convinced. But he nodded his approval, all the same, transported by the firmness of my voice. As for me, now that I have said it out loud, I felt that the information had settled in my mind, and I finally accepted it as the truth, with a full understanding of the situation. Like sometimes, like on the other one, it was missing an I, and like in here, it's like, and I finally accepted it as the truth, right? You would say it more like that. My father, Magnus the Fifth, Emperor of Calidya, was dead. Many would have broken down after hearing such news, but for years now I hadn't held an ounce of affection for him. His death was actually good news to me. It marked the beginning of a new era, a better one, I hoped. I mean, you always wish for that, you just never know. Sometimes we do hope that imagine that she becomes the new ruler, and you always have this hope inside of you that you are going to do something better. But I mean, sometimes things do not end up in the way that you think they are going to end up. An era for which I've been preparing ever since I realized that this was my destiny. I was to succeed him, I was to become the Empress. But it wasn't yet time for celebration. Although I was the legitimate heir to the throne, I had plenty of detractors, and I still needed to figure out why the assassination had taken place. I had many questions about the killer's identity and motivations, yes. As she couldn't give a damn about her father, but in a political way, in a political view, it would be very important that you would not discard the situation and actually show to the others that you are very concerned, and we need to get the assassin, the killer, and even if she doesn't even care, it's a political thing, showing concern for what happened to the other ruler. Otherwise people would have an idea of her, oh, she didn't even care about it. So yes, that's an important thing. She needs to show to the others that she's concerned about it, even though she probably doesn't even care. I was lost in thought, and it took me a while to realize that Alden and Alexander were standing at me, worried, surely awaiting a reaction or a declaration from me. Both had known me since my early childhood. They knew the enmity I felt for the Emperor, and I trusted them enough to set all pretenses aside. But it was perhaps a bit inappropriate to rejoice over my future title while my father's dead corpse was still warm. Yeah, it wouldn't be good. If they were some how would you say, some type of servants that she was very close to and she could rely with, maybe she could show some joy about it. But in terms of the people, yeah, that wouldn't be good. She always needed, and even the nobles and all of it, she needed to show that she was concerned about it, and it was outrageous, and that would be very important. After taking a deep breath, I threw off my covers and got up, eyeing them. Well, I do not know what type of relationship she has with these two people. After taking a deep breath, I threw off my covers and got up, eyeing them. I am going to pretend to be sad because, as I told you, well, I do not know what type of relationship she already has with them, and it is very important for the others to actually think that we are very concerned about it. I straightened up, faltering, my hand over my heart, and I put on my most pained and saddened face to declare it in a trembling voice. The loss of my father is a terrible tragedy. I still have trouble accepting it. My performance was exemplary. I was quite proud of the slight tremors in my speech, but it seemed Alden wasn't entirely convinced. He coughed. Yeah, maybe he knows us better, But we are at the beginning. I do not know whom she trusts or not. Come on, Your Grace, keep your sad orphan tears for the court. Even your little performance is quite convincing and will work wonders on the masses. It doesn't fool anyone in this room. I know fairly well what you felt for your father, and you never seemed the kind of person who would be this sensitive. You have your head screwed on right, which is a part of you that I admire. I sighed inwardly at being so easily exposed, but I politely kept on my smile. You are right, his death doesn't mean much to me, but just as you said, I can't very well display my indifference before the court. I might as well practice now. Well, at present, ensuring the kingdom's stability is our top priority. I'm counting on you to protect and serve me. This won't be an easy task, but I'm sure we can accomplish great things. This time Alexander got up, putting his hand on his scythe in a dignified and military posture. At your service, Highness, may the four witness my oath. I solemnly swear that I will protect you until my dying breath. Emphatic, he bowed down before lifting his eyes up to me. I smiled and accepted his allegiance with a certain poise, despite my unkept hair and my nightgown. Marjorie, my tutor, often told me that everything about me showed nobility, that I didn't need any props to act like an empress. Today I understood what she had meant. Alden, however, didn't seem to share the general's fervor. Forgive me, your Majesty, for tarnishing your enthusiasm, but there is a very delicate question that I have to ask. Have you had your father killed? Oh, I do not know. His abrupt question threw me off, and I stared at him, wavering between surprise and indignation. How dare you even suggest such a possibility? You are going too far, advisor. Maybe she did. We do not know about that. Come on, don't be offended. You said it yourself. You've hated your father since the death of your brother. You've always held him responsible for it. And your father dies on the very day of your return to the palace. Whatever your answer is, I'll accept it, but I need to know. I felt anger rise within me at these words, and I walked to the window to breathe some fresh air. I'm going to tell you something. Like some days ago, not days, it was some weeks ago, I played just for a little bit. I played a game which was very different from what we usually get. It was a Japanese game, and they usually do not do this, which is like we were the bad one. We were the rotten apple in there. We were the bad, the villain one. Do you understand what I'm trying to say? Like, our main protagonist was the baddie in there. Yeah. Now I was just like thinking about that, and I don't know why, but it's so cool because it's something so different, but at the same time you kind of enter into a conflict when right at the beginning you already know that you are the bad person in there. Do you understand what I'm trying to say? It's like, it's so conflicting. Yeah. I felt anger rise within me at these words, and I walked to the window to breathe some fresh air. Oh, I already said this one. After I took a few deep inhales, I finally turned around to face him and gave him my answer in a firm voice. On the one hand, my presence here isn't a coincidence. The Emperor celebrates, or rather was about to celebrate, his birthday in 2 days. Half of the Empire's noblemen are here. It's undeniable that the event presented the perfect opportunity to strike. The palace is swarming with unknown guards and servants. It's much harder to provide security in these circumstances. Exactly. On the other hand, your suspicions are an insult to my intelligence advisor. After a regicide, the heir is always suspected. If I had really wanted to speed up a fate, you better believe I would have been smarter about it. Marjorie taught me the rules of the game. I would never risk losing everything in such a foolish way. I know my ascension to the throne will already be difficult because I am a woman. I'll state it plainly if it can relieve your doubts, but listen closely because I will not repeat myself. No, I did not have my father assassinated. My eyes trained on him, I crossed my arms, almost daring him to contradict me as I kept a lid on my fury. Alden seemed to gauge me for a moment, then nodded in assent and apology. Please forgive me, Your Grace. As soon as possible, I'll alert the Master of Murmurs and we'll launch an investigation to uncover the truth and bring justice to your father. I would have preferred more vivid regrets, but under the circumstances, this was enough, and I felt my anger slowly fade away. I accept your apology. Let's not speak of this again. There are more urgent things to do. The news will, no doubt, make quite a commotion. You've asked us to swear allegiance, allegiance, right? Okay. To you. I assume you will try to claim your rightful place as heir, Your Grace. As heir. Like, sometimes I forget to put the H in there. So, yes, I've always wanted to become an empress. Yes, it's my destiny. So, like, this one is more like we feel like it's our fated destiny, right? And this one is more connected to ambitions, I would say. Let's not make it so much as an ambition, but more like it is something that it had to happen. Yes, it is my destiny. I heaved a deep sigh and mustered all my determination to answer him without leaving any doubts as to my intentions. I realized a while ago that this was my destiny. Whether I like it or not, I don't really have a choice, and I'm not one to do things half-heartedly. I mean, for the way that she has shown us to be, the ambition one would prove to be probably the right one to pick. But I am not the ambitious type of person myself. So I kind of wanted to live more into like, it was something that was like some kind of karma fate. I know that there aren't many people in the direct line of succession, but if you truly don't want to, I believe one of your bastard brothers would do the trick. You know fully well that my cousins would covet the position. This would mean the start of a succession war that would drown the kingdom in fire and blood. Yeah, it's kind of like strange because like this is a fantasy setting, but especially during like medieval times, you would always get like a man on the throne. Okay, so but I think we need to see this in a more fantasy type of setting. You did had in England, you had like another situation, but it wasn't during medieval type times. Do you understand what I'm trying to say? Even if by some miracle the nobility came out in favor of one of my half brothers, there's no guarantee that it would all go well. I'm going to show you like for instance, in here during those times it would be more like, imagine you only had bastards and you had like a daughter. So what they would do, it would be they would marry the daughter with another grand king from an allianced country, and there is like this promise that this guy is going to take care of our kingdom as if it was his own, but not becoming a part of the other country. Do you understand what I'm trying to say here? And that happened in history. That actually happened. For instance, in my country, that happened. It's like you have like an allegiance, and the daughter can never become like some kind of empress or king, queen, let's call it. So what would happen in that situation is like, you have like a country with whom you have like some kind of allegiance, and you would say, okay, so bring me one of your princes in here, and he will become like a king in here. And that doesn't guarantee or mean that now this country belongs to you. Is just so we can get like progeny, that we can continue to have like another type of ruler in here. Okay, so this it is true. It's in history. It happened in countries, in not only on mine, but in some countries this actually happened. So I think we need to look at this with a more like fantasy type of setting. They know nothing of politics. They'll be nothing more than puppets, or even worse, incompetent. By birth, I have a responsibility to the people of this country, and I don't intend to shirk it. In any case, even if I were to retire to my estate to manage it, I would still be a potential threat to their reign. I'll never be safe, even if I were to completely relinquish my right to the throne. There's no doubt about it. I have to be the next empress. Only time will tell, but I think I am the best possible choice under the circumstances. I don't doubt that, Your Grace. In fact, I'm rather relieved to see you have already thought about it. Like you said, our country needs stability. We can't get away with a weak-willed monarch on the throne. I'm sure you'll be a wonderful empress, Lydia. His words were barely a whisper, but I was sure of what I had heard, and I felt my cheeks redden a little. He seemed embarrassed by his own boldness and blushed more violently than me, while I flashed him a smile to reassure him. It had been years since I had last heard him call me by my name. Even if I had no doubts about my own abilities, it was always refreshing to see the trust he gave me. I cleared my throat and regained my composure so I could give my orders. This would be a long night. Who else knows about the assassination for now? Alexander seemed surprised by the question and frowned a bit while searching his mind. When I found the body, I immediately went to warn the advisor, and both of us rushed to see you. The only ones who know about it are the guards who were patrolling with me and your father's personal maid, who was passing by. We knew it would be bad to attract attention, so I had her discreetly sent to the dungeon for interrogation. How about the guards who were stationed before my father's door? Both are dead. I also had their corpses taken to the dungeon for examination. I mean, it would have to be like a very skilled person, right? I paced the room, lost deep in thought. You've done well. Now we have to keep it all a secret. It's imperative that no one else hears about it. Oh, she's going to keep it a secret. Your Grace. This won't be an easy secret to keep. Obviously, we won't be able to do that forever. I only need a few days so I can stay ahead of my detractors. Alden looked thoughtful for a few moments, then he nodded. I see, so you want to act before everyone else, which should give you the upper hand. But that would put all of them as accomplices, right? When things go out into the light, you know. Exactly. Very smart. I have no doubt that some people will want to take advantage of the situation. Even if you are unquestionably the rightful heir, your place will be fought over. But if you don't give them time to react, that could make things a great deal easier. That's what I was thinking too. I'll love it if the situation was more straightforward, but this is a little white lie, and the alternative is the chaos of a wildly disputed succession. Yeah, people kind of take this as a white lie. The problem with white lies is that they are not fair, okay? And I always feel this, like, there are situations even in your life where people are like, this was just, so I told the boss this, and it was about you, and it was just a little white lie. Yes, but there are repercussions, and it's not fair, and sometimes you get involved in things because of a stupid white lie, okay? So for me, white lies are always like something that I do not like. And in here, for instance, I kind of feel like, yeah, I mean, what she's doing, it's not fair. It's just not fair. This is what happens when people are kind of like driven by ambitions, yeah. Alden nodded, and I continued, developing the rest of my plan. In the meantime, pretend that His Majesty is not feeling well and investigate discreetly. I see, I'll order my men to stay silent. I'll also ensure that they haven't said a word so far. About that, it might be wiser to ensure that they can't talk at all. Oh. Okay. I mean, this could also be something that could favor us to try to understand who did it. And I'm kind of understanding what Alden is saying in here. Oh, his name is like in French too, no? I'm saying like, sorry, I wasn't actually saying. Alden de Valbleu. Yeah, his name is in French too. So And I'm kind of understanding what Alden is saying in here. The less people you have to talk about it might actually aid to actually know who did it. Okay? Because imagine that they discard everyone that actually knows it. And only like the three of them know about it. Only the three of them. And suddenly, like someone says, like someone from the court says something of, oh, but he's dead. And you would be like, oh, he is. And you would be like, how do you know it? You know? There's that too. Of course, like, this would imply killing people, okay? Which is not good. But yeah. Low-grade staff is known for its gossiping, even the guards, yeah. My men are trustworthy. They would never disobey. Okay, Alexander, I'm seeing your type. And I'm like, okay. Would you be willing to bet on that? If it could jeopardize the plans of your new empress, to whom you have only just sworn allegiance. And that maid, can you also guarantee she'll keep quiet? Yeah, because you know the issue sometimes with this is like, sometimes the issue is not that people aren't loyal. It's that this type of people can be easily blackmailed and influenced. Okay, which is also another thing. But I'm not saying that we should kill them, okay? I'm just saying that it is a reality, though. His teeth clenched, his hand gripping the hilt of his sword. Alexander shook his head. The weight of Alden's words had also fallen heavily on my shoulders, and I observed both men while contemplating my next steps. Yeah, this decision is yours to make, Your Grace, but I strongly advise you to silence them for good. Alden was right. The most effective way to ensure someone stayed quiet was to have them killed. It is true, though. It is true, though. However, there could be other alternatives to consider. Such a decision couldn't be taken lightly, because whatever I decided, I couldn't afford to regret it. Yep, let's see. Have them killed. We'll pretend they were collateral damage of the assassin. I am sorry, Alexander, but we cannot afford to take any risks. So ensure their loyalty by promising them a much better position once I'm crowned. Even if they were really tempted to talk about what happened, this should be a good enough motivation to ensure their allegiance. And this is the money one. When you explain to them that they mustn't say a word, give them a few coins and promise them more once the secret has been revealed. And in the meantime, send them on a vacation far away from here. That should be enough to guarantee their silence. Okay, so I probably would never consider the third one, because we have this sensation that we can buy people with money. But let me tell you, there's always going to be another person with more money than you buying them in another way. Okay? I mean, unless we were very sure that they would remain loyal to us, you know. That would not guarantee their silence. Even like sending them away would be another issue, because they would have a lot more freedom to just do whatever they want. They had the money, they were away. Other nobles would get to them and give them money, and yeah. So, what we have is like killing them or promising them something of a promotion. Promotion, kind of, because people are ambitious, is something more appealing to people. Still, let me think. Even if they were really tempted to talk about what happened, this should be good enough motivation. Yes, I mean, because this is something that is very tempting to people. We are very drawn to ambitions. Okay, we are very greedy in our ambitions. To be honest, I really want to choose this one because I think it's the safe bet, but there are consequences in here, which is like someone might know afterwards when things come to light that we were ruthless and we act like a tyrant and we just killed people. Also, we need to think about this in a grander way, which is like these people probably have families and the families would also feel the injustice of it. Like in a real life situation, it is like that, okay? We kind of tend to forget. It's just like, oh, we need to silence these people. Yeah, but these people also have like husbands and wives and kids, and yeah, I'm probably going with this one. Let's it. I saw Alexander sighed in relief and imperceptibly loosen up. Alden, however, shrugged and bowed to me. Yeah, I probably should have gone with Alden's suggestion. It's just that, I mean, in a real life situation, I would probably never do it, It's just that because I empathize with the fact that people have a family and have, it's like that. But the best bet in there was actually to kill them. That could work, yes, time will tell. I have faith. Besides, if I'm right, I'll be surrounded by trustworthy people, which is always useful. Oh, I do not know about that. I had spoken with determination, perfectly hiding my own doubts. Humans are unpredictable in nature, it was a bet, and I could only hope it would pay off. In any case, even if the servants talked and the rumor escaped, I still had my chances. The advantage I was building would be precious to me, but it wasn't the only weapon in my arsenal. Can I count on you, Alexander? He straightened into a military stance and immediately bowed. Of course, Your Grace, I will do my best to convince them you've made the right decision. Without further ado, he bowed once more and left the room with a heavy step. Alden seemed to be lost in thought for a moment, giving me time to come to my senses before he bowed down in turn. I must at least inform the Master of Murmurs of the situation, so that we may launch an investigation. It's just that I was just like feeling like we would kill them and then things would come to light and people would know that we killed other people involved, and like we were trying to hide something, and I was like, better not. I nodded, aware of our lead spy's discretion as well as his efficiency. Once that is done, I'll come to you to plan the rest of your ascent. Once more I nodded in approval, glad to be offered a little interlude that would allow me to gather my thoughts and to dress decently while I was at it. After all, even if the coronation hadn't taken place yet, deep within me, I knew it, I felt it. I was the Empress. So chapter 1, Long Live the Empress. It's like spring, day 8, morning. The sun had now been up for a few hours, promising a beautiful day, but I knew I wouldn't be able to appreciate it. Now that the rush of adrenaline from the news had passed, all I had left were doubts on the days to come, which were going to be exhilarating as much as terrifying. I was gambling my future along with Calidya's, and that was a big deal. Yeah, like, I probably wouldn't have done it in the way she did, like, of hiding and stuff. It also gives you, as I said, it also gives you another thing, which is like, okay, if I hide it, is also a way to see if someone is going to feel agitated about the fact that no one is talking about it. Do you understand? It also gives you like that upper hand. So you have ways. Yeah? I had spent the past few hours redying myself and refining the details of my plan to appease my latent nervousness as best I could. But that didn't help me shake off my main preoccupation, the servants. Like Alden had said, I had made a risky decision and I had been torturing myself for hours wondering if it was worth it. I was restless when I heard the knock and leaped into the door, opening it for Alden and letting him in. There, Your Grace. We have followed your orders. She made a decision and she has to live with it, okay? It is also true that we are hiding something in here and we have to deal with the consequences of it, you know? I hadn't seen that he was accompanied by the Master of Murmurs, who came in after him. A slight discomfort washed over me. His role inside the palace was vital, but since I was a child I had been terrified of his hidden face and the mysterious aura that surrounded him. Nevertheless, my discomfort turned into amazement when I saw him remove his hood as if it were nothing and turn to face me. My brain had pictured the worst for years, and it was very unsettling to finally be able to put a face to that man. I realized he wasn't as monstrous as I had imagined. In fact, I was so shocked that it made me forget the reason for my visitor's presence, which seemed to greatly amuse the Master of Murmurs. Is there a problem, Your Grace? Oh, it's just I didn't know that you could show your face. To be honest, I do what I want, but in principle, I only remove my wood in the presence of my sovereign and their close collaborators. Though I like to entertain the mystery and anonymity that come with the job, it would be far too dangerous for me never to reveal my face. Some people might use that to usurp my identity. I see. Though it was disconcerting, it was also rather reassuring to see that a man as important as the Master of Murmurs already acknowledged me as his sovereign. Alden cleared his throat to recall me to my duty, and I suddenly remembered the reason for the two men presence, which immediately made my anxiety flare up. To keep myself from staring at the master spy, I faced the advisor and fully focused on him. Did everything go well? My anxiety must have been conspicuous, even if I was doing my best to put on a confident expression. The servants seemed convinced by your offer. They left the palace without complaining, so I suppose we can count that as a win. Oh, so they left the palace anyway. I do not like that. I would prefer to keep them in here, because that is even more conspicuous in a certain way. You know, like we are trying to keep a secret in here and we are sending people away. And it's like, why? You know? Despite all that, it's still a bit early to be sure of anything. I gave the Master of Murmurs and Alexander the task of keeping a close eye on the situation. The Master of Murmurs slowly nodded in assent. We'll know more tomorrow, but for the time being, there's nothing more to report. I lift my eyes to meet my advisors and flashed Alden a reassuring smile. Clearly, he read my emotion better than I had thought, and I couldn't allow myself to visibly waver at such a critical time. I know that, and what's done is done. Now we must focus on the future. Bring the High Priest to the council room. I need him to contact the Quadrator? Quadrator, I think it's that. Robert is a pious man. Pious man. Okay. Sorry, I'm not certain.
Pious.
Okay, pious. Yeah. You know this happens to me because I'm not certain. Okay, Robert is a pious man. Are you sure it's a good idea to confide in him? Everyone likes to think the devout never lie, but one doesn't obtain a place like his without cheating a little. I admit that the idea of lying to him came to me for a fleeting moment, but to fool him would be a complex task, and I'll be needing his support when the time comes. The people put great stock in men of faith. Very well, Your Majesty, will that be all? Yes, thank you. So this is the afternoon. You summoned me, Your Grace. Yes, thank you for coming, Robert. I gestured for him to sit down while I settled behind my father's imposing desk. Like I had predicted, my behavior made him lift a curious brow, but I pretended not to notice it. I won't beat around the bush. My father, the Emperor, died during the night. Clearly, we had done a pretty good job at keeping that a secret, since the shock on his face seemed genuine. What? But how? And why am I just learning about it now? I need to pray for his soul. I tried to appease him with a wave of my hand, inviting him to sit back down, since he looked like he was about to get up. He was murderer. For the time being, we are keeping his death a secret so we can investigate without causing any sort of panic. It was the Master of Murmur's idea. He's convinced he'll be able to find the assassin more easily this way. Oh, now we are putting like the idea on the Master of Murmurs. Okay. Drowning in information, the High Priest slumped into his chair and took in my half-truths, while I assumed a saddened expression. It truly is a tragic situation. Keeping quiet and hiding my mourning is a very hard task for me. I know it's a lot to ask of you, but you need to keep this a secret. I want to do everything in my power to uncover the murderer, especially since I'm scared he could come after me. Once more, I was quite proud of the quivers in my voice, and my acting seemed to be effective since I saw a spark of compassion light up in his eyes. I understand now why the general was guarding your door like a common soldier. With a closed expression on my face, I nodded, searching for the right words. The first and main reason I've summoned you here is so that I could confide in you and ask you to pray for my departed father's soul. Of course, Your Majesty, I'll lock myself up in the great temple and dedicate myself to the task. My face still sad, I gave him a tight, grateful smile, but inside I felt relieved. His prayers should keep him busy enough that he wouldn't be tempted to reveal everything. Now I could move on to the true reason of his presence here. But before that, this saddens me, but I have another favor to ask of you. Of course, Your Grace, what is it? Well, Alden and I are afraid that all the upstarts across the kingdom will rush to the castle and try to usurp the throne as soon as my father's death is made public. In their greed, many forget that my line sits on the throne by the grace of the Four. So I'd like to send a letter to the Quadrator and have him support my coronation as well as reaffirm my legitimacy. Once more, he stayed silent, and I tried to hide my worry behind a veil of sadness. Legitimacy. Okay, now it's coming out the right way. Okay. I hated that my plans depended on a single person, but I didn't have a choice. Only rulers and high priests could hope to quickly reach the ultimate leader of the cardinals, and I technically wasn't empress yet. I understand, yes. Your Magnus, the fifth's only legitimate child, the throne should be yours. That said, I don't know if the Quadrator will approve of your advent. Perhaps if you were married, your candidacy would seem less inappropriate. I felt my body tense up at his words, and it took all I had to conceal how irritated I was by this reminder. Yeah, I mean, so this is like what is the name? Calidya? Calidya, right? Sorry, it's like I'm so bad retaining information. Yeah, I am. So this is like an imaginary kind of a kingdom, right? So I do not know if we are talking about a religion that kind of resembles the Catholic one. But yeah, in terms of like that type of religion, for them, it would be like an offense. Okay, an offense for a woman like her to be made the ruler of a kingdom, you know? I knew I would be told such things. I had mentally prepared myself for it, but obviously it hadn't been enough. It's an issue, yes, and I'll do my best to find a fitting husband quickly, but you'll agree that I cannot entrust the throne of Calidya, okay, I was like Calidya, to just anyone. I have plenty of suitors, but I need some time to study each and every one of them. That's not something that can be done in just a couple of days or even weeks. In the meantime, we do need someone to lead the country and make sure it doesn't sink into chaos. And if a regent were to be appointed, I'm afraid he might refuse to give the throne back to me and my husband, which would lead the whole country to a bloodbath. No one wants to see another era of murderous plots like during Magnus III's time. You are right, Your Grace. We cannot let such a tragedy befall us. I'll go write a letter to the Quadrators right away to express support for your coronation and explain our situation.